Hi there, this is Ranjit, and in this video we will be doing the review for this Moto M, and I have been testing this device for about 10 days now. And in this review I'll divide this review between the pros and cons, what I liked about this device and what I didn't like about this device. And this device is actually very different if you compare it with other Motorola devices, because this one is having a metal back and Motorola concentrated on styling rather than functionality with this device. So let's see what I found out in this review. But before that, here are the specs for the Moto M. And as you can see, it's powered by the MediaTek Helios P15 chipset, and it comes with 3 or 4 gigabyte RAM models. The one that I tested had 3 gigabytes of RAM, and it's sold in India for Rs 16,000. You can check out my unboxing video for a more general overview. And let's start with the pros and cons. I've made a list on my Surface Pro, so we'll go over that. And the first thing that I have noticed immediately, and I also showed this device to other people, and they said that this is a very stylish device. So in terms of styling, Motorola has done a very good job with this one. The back is also metal, and they have moved the fingerprint sensor on the back, which is a nice thing. Instead, on the other phones like this Moto G4 Plus, etc., where they were on the front, which was a very odd position. So I like the fingerprint scanner position on the back, and I'm happy to say that the fingerprint performance is also very good. Let's test it. It's on standby, and as you can see, I touch it and it works. So the fingerprint performance was very good, and Motorola has done a good job, and I like it on the back. So that works very well. Now if we talk about the screen quality, here also I was actually pretty impressed. It's a 1080p IPS grade screen, and the screen quality on this device is actually very good, and it also has auto brightness sensor. And the good thing is that even if you take the phone outdoors in direct sunlight, the screen is easily visible. So they have put a very good quality screen on this one. Next, if we talk about, it's a dual SIM device and a dual SIM nano, so you can use the other SIM as a hybrid micro SD card slot, but again, not a dedicated SD card slot on this one. But it does work fine with the Reliance VoLTE, and I tested it. And for the most of the time when I was testing this device, I was using it as a dual SIM with Airtel 4G and Reliance Jio, and that worked perfectly. Also, in terms of cellular call quality, the cellular call quality was fine. I had no issues. Even the speaker was fine. I'll talk about the speaker later. But one thing that I have noticed, and this was not happening always, but I noticed this about 10% of the time, the proximity sensor was a little bit flaky. I don't know if the unit that I have, again, this is a unit that I purchased, is having a problem. But 10% of the time, sometimes when you take the call, the screen was not going off, and it was accidentally activating the speaker phone. This happened about 10% of the time. And next, if we talk about this device claims to have Dolby support, so that's nice. You can enable that, and yes, it adds a little bit of depth to the music, particularly if you're using a headphone jack. But again, one thing that I don't like is that though it claims to have that Dolby, it just has a single speaker output. Though in terms of loudness, the speaker was fine, but you simply don't get that stereo effect because it has that just a single speaker. So I miss the fact that Moto skimped on not having a proper stereo setup on this one. But the speaker in terms of loudness was fine, and I also took some calls via the speaker phone, and they worked well. Next, if we talk about the battery life, in my regular testing was slightly above average, I would say. That means for a typical working day, it was lasting without any issues. For example, if I take it out in the morning at about 8 o'clock from the charger, even at night at about 11 o'clock, I used to always have about 20% of the charge. So it will last for a typical working day. But again, if you're sort of a very heavy user with dual SIM and stuff, yes, you might need to top it up later on. But again, this is battery life is again very similar to what I was getting on the Moto G4 Plus. So it's not great like the Redmi Note 3 or something. And in my day-to-day usage, not with very heavy usage, you can see it was lasting me for almost about over 24 hours, and sometimes even about 1.5 days. Now, if we talk about the charging time, it took me about 1.5 hours to charge it from 10% to all the way to about 100%. And this one strangely also has a LED notification light and it is enabled, and that works for notifications. Sadly, Moto display and the Moto actions and stuff that we are used to with Moto devices are not present on this one because it's using a MediaTek chipset. And now moving to sensors, it has all the important sensors that you would expect, including compass and even gyroscope, and apart from other common sensors like auto brightness and whatnot. So it has all the important sensors. Motorola didn't skimp on the sensors department, and I did test it with the YouTube 360 degrees video, and they worked fine. I also tested it with Google Maps for navigation, and that also worked fine. So these were the things that I actually liked on this device. Now let's move to some of the things that I actually did not like on this device. And as I've told you, it's a very strange device coming from Motorola. And the first thing that I have noticed is that this device is running on the MediaTek Helio P15 chipset, which is actually just a sort of a overclocked version of the Helio P10. And to be frank, considering the price point of this device, this is selling in India for 16,000. I feel Motorola has skimped on the processor used on this device. It's a below average processor in my frank opinion. In day-to-day operation, yes, it works fine and you don't notice a lot of lag. You notice a minor lag with heavy usage when you're doing multitasking. I noticed that lag about 5% of the time, but for the rest of the usage, I would say it works fine even with multitasking and stuff. As you can see, so many apps are sort of running and I didn't have problem. But yes, occasionally I do notice that stutteriness and looks like the processor is getting pushed. Now again, I do not like the fact that this is a Moto device, but still it does not have the Moto display and the Moto actions and stuff. And Motorola said that because it's running on the MediaTek chipset, this device does not support that functionality. So they should have gone with the Snapdragon variant, but sadly they have went with the Helios P15. So you won't find Moto display or Moto actions functionality on this device. Now moving to gaming also, I sort of had mixed results with gaming. I've already posted a dedicated video regarding the gaming performance of this device. And yes, it could run many of the games, but with some heavy games, I did notice some lag with this device. So if you're sort of a person particularly getting this device just for gaming, then I would not recommend you this device because yes, because of the processor and the GPUs, it is just pushing the device and you'll notice some lag on heavy games. Casual games, yes, it runs fine. Now moving to camera quality, here also I feel Motorola has sort of compromised because I was comparing it with the Moto G4 Plus, and this Moto G4 Plus is available for 15,000, whereas this one is available for 16,000 rupees. So naturally you'll expect that the camera would be better, but that's not the case. Yes, in outdoor lighting conditions, the camera takes some good shots, as you can see from the sample shots, but when we move to indoor and artificial lighting, the camera really struggles. I would say it's not like you can't take some shots, but you have to be very stable, and I had to take multiple shots to get some decent shots in artificial lighting. So in terms of artificial lighting and indoor lighting conditions, the camera is very mediocre. It's similar to, I would say, the Redmi Note 3. The Redmi Note 3 also does very well in outdoor lighting conditions, but again, that also struggles in indoor and artificial lighting. That's the same case with this one. But if camera is your highest priority, I would say any day the Moto G4 Plus has a way superior camera compared to this Moto M. But when we move to the front-facing camera, the front-facing camera performance was actually good. And in fact, the front-facing camera strangely is better compared to even the Moto G4 Plus. So again, camera was not a highlighting point, and again Motorola has again skimmed on this one. It does not even have the laser autofocusing system on this Moto M, which the Moto G4 Plus has. So needless to say, if camera is your highest priority, the Moto G4 Plus is a winner. So overall, I would say for the price of about 16,000, I had very mixed results with this device, and I feel this is sort of overpriced for what Motorola is sort of offering. Yes, if you just look at the build quality and styling, yes, it's very good on this. The fingerprint scanner also works very well. So if you're a very style conscious person, then you might lean over this. But if I talk about price to value comparison, then simply this Moto M does not make that much sense, because even the camera performance was very average. The Moto G4 Plus had a better camera, and in fact I would say you can get the Redmi Note 3 that's available for just about 12,000, or if you're a very camera centric person, then you can get the Moto G4 Plus. Both these devices, I would say, are better practically than the Moto M. So guys, that was my review for this Moto M. If you, again, I have already posted my gaming review. If you want to check out that, link will be there in the YouTube show notes. And I have also posted the unboxing video earlier, so you can also check that for more info. I hope you found this video review helpful. If you found it helpful, I'll appreciate if you can click the like button. And if you're not subscribed to my YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching. This is Ranjit, and I hope to see you in my next video.